If you're thinking about getting a new vehicle in 2025, you are probably saying to yourself, well, I could get one of these battery electric vehicles, but a hybrid does seem like a safer choice, or a plug-in hybrid. I mean, you don't have to worry about charging them when you're on a road trip. And they're so popular right now, some of them have a 6-month waiting list. And they're outselling battery electric vehicles in Australia 2 to 1. Surely that's a better choice. And the batteries are good for 50 or 60 kilometres, and that's sort of what I do every day, so I can pretty well run on a hybrid battery all the time. Well, things are about to change, and buying a hybrid vehicle in 2025 is no longer a smart choice. Let me explain why. I went through the same decision process when I bought my first Tesla, the Model 3, in 2021. I'll take the blue one. At the time, electric vehicles were quite new. The Tesla Model 3 was available in Australia, but the Tesla Model Y had yet to be released. So you start to wonder, well, maybe I should get a hybrid because it's the best of both worlds. It uses a battery for around town running, and that reduces fuel consumption, but when I want to go on a longer trip, I've got a petrol engine as a backup. Today, hybrid vehicles in Australia are very popular, as shown in the latest data from Energy Facts. But there are serious downsides to owning a hybrid vehicle, which a few years ago were outweighed by the upsides. And the popularity of hybrids is forecast to peak next year, and then there will be a rapid decline in the resale value of those vehicles. So what am I talking about? Almost every supplier in Australia offers a hybrid version of their vehicle. Hybrids are more popular than battery electric vehicles. But here's where it gets interesting. All of that is about to change. What we've seen from other countries where the adoption of new energy vehicles is way ahead of where we are in Australia is that the reasons that people decide to buy a hybrid vehicle over a battery electric vehicle fade away once charging infrastructure and the number of battery electric vehicles on the road gets to about 10% of all new vehicle sales. And we're approaching that point in Australia now. There was a time not too long ago where people didn't trust these new battery electric vehicles. Charging was difficult. You had to sit at the mall for 3 hours. And you heard these stories about battery fires, and you heard the stories about how you had to replace the battery every 5 years and it cost $20,000. Now, if you didn't have charging at home, or if there weren't reliable high-speed chargers near where you lived, then that might have been a good reason to consider buying a hybrid. Or if you were regularly towing a boat or a caravan, then you really needed the extended range that a hybrid might deliver. All of these historical justifications for buying a hybrid and the myths have one by one been eliminated. In Australia in particular, there are charging stations virtually everywhere. In New South Wales alone, the state government is installing 30,000 electric vehicle charging locations. So this has really taken away all of the range anxiety and made it much easier for locals who don't have charging facilities at home to charge an electric vehicle. So the reasons for hybrids are just falling away one by one. And we are now seeing the development of the largest EV charging station in Australia called Goulburn 2 by Tesla. The Tesla superchargers will be open to all makes of electric vehicle and is expected to be operational by July. But don't go telling me you can't drive long distances in a battery electric vehicle. We drove all the way to Winton and Longreach in my Tesla Model Y just last year, and I've made a video about the experience if you want to have a look. Hybrids no longer make any sense for a number of other reasons. Firstly, battery electric vehicles have come down in price dramatically. We have seen the crossover point now where battery electric vehicles are actually cheaper than ICE or even hybrid vehicles. It's possible to buy a very good battery electric vehicle in Australia now for $35,000, and this price is coming down. Add to that the fact that you have virtually zero running costs if you're operating your electric vehicle from solar and renewable electricity, and the service costs are minimal. I recently had my Tesla Model Y serviced after 45,000 kilometres in 2 years, and it cost me $244, including wiper blades. 65% of the Australian driving population do less than 50 kilometres per day. A hybrid battery will probably get you 50 kilometres. The downside, of course, is that you're now carrying around 2 powertrains. When you're running in battery mode, you're carrying a heavy internal combustion engine plus a fuel tank, and when you're running in hybrid petrol mode, you're carrying a heavy battery around that's not being used. There were some people who would not buy a battery electric vehicle in the early days because of the perceived fire risk. So buying a hybrid surely doesn't make any sense at all if you're worried about battery fires, because you're also now carrying around a large tank full of petrol or gasoline. Hybrids now really do deliver the worst of both worlds, and you still have to maintain the internal combustion engine with oil changes, spark plugs, air filters, oil filters, and you're doing all of this just for those few days per year where you may exceed the range of your hybrid battery. Really, a battery electric vehicle just makes an awful lot more sense these days. Hey, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. G'day, and welcome to Steve's Tesla. This is my channel dedicated to electric vehicles and renewable energy. Subscribe now, and let's drive.